Welcome to the Deep Dive,
The deep dive.
where we go through all the cybersecurity news,
All the news, huh?
and we pull out the really interesting stuff.
Okay.
So today we're diving into 28 new articles,
28.
straight from the InfoSec Research Hub, all published February 14th, 2025.
Wow, happy Valentine's Day.
Happy Valentine's Day
Let's
indeed.
get to it. What do we got?
Well, we got to start with advanced persistent threats. APTs.
Always a fun one.
Feels like we talk about them every week, but this time after a new twist. This research paper, Investigation of Advanced Persistent Threats, Network-Based Tactics, Techniques, and Procedures, reveals how these attackers are becoming masters of disguise.
Oh, masters of disguise. So like sneaky.
Sneaky. Think cyber spies.
Oh, okay.
They're not smashing and grabbing data.
No, smash and grab.
They want to stay hidden.
Right.
For months, even years, silently stealing valuable information.
Sounds tricky.
To do this, they rely on command and control servers
Command and control.
to communicate with their malware hidden within your network.
Okay, so like a secret backdoor.
Exactly, a secret backdoor. But finding these servers is like finding a needle in a haystack.
Oh, that doesn't sound easy.
And that's where these new tactics come in. APTs are using sneaky DNS tricks to mask their activity. Think of DNS as the phone book of the internet.
Right, the phone book.
It translates human-readable domain names, like google.com,
Yeah, google.com.
into numerical IP addresses that computers understand.
Okay, so they're messing with the phone book to hide their calls.
Exactly. They're using techniques like dynamic DNS,
Dynamic DNS.
typo squatting, TLD squatting,
Squatting.
to create fake addresses and redirect traffic to their malicious servers.
So even if security teams are looking for suspicious activity, these APTs can just blend right in.
Blend right in. Wolf in sheep's clothing.
Wow, that's pretty sneaky. And once they establish a connection, then what?
They often use HTTPS, the
HTTPS.
same protocol that secures, your online banking, to encrypt their communications, making it even harder to detect. Over 80% of APT campaigns use this tactic.
Hiding in plain sight. This is getting scary.
But here's where things get really interesting. Another paper, APT LLM, embedding-based anomaly detection of cyber advanced persistent threats using large language models, suggests a new weapon in our arsenal. Large language models.
LLMs, we hear a lot about those these days. What are they doing here?
This is cutting-edge stuff. We're talking about training AI models to recognize the subtle patterns of APT behavior
Train AI to catch the bad guys, huh?
by analyzing what's called process action provenance traces.
Okay, so like giving a detective a superpowered magnifying glass.
Exactly. So instead of looking for specific signatures or known malware, these LLMs can detect anomalies, deviations from normal behavior
Deviations.
that might indicate an APT at work.
Gotcha. So they can spot those subtle hints that something's fishy, even if the attack is completely new?
Exactly.
This is amazing. And it works.
The study shows that LLMs, combined with a type of AI called autoencoders, can detect even the stealthiest APT activity, even when those attacks are incredibly rare.
A potential game changer, huh?
But it's not just APTs that keep security professionals up at night. We've got phishing attacks. Still a major problem.
Phishing. Ugh, everyone's gotten that email, right?
This paper, Registration, Detection, and Deregistration, analyzing DNS abuse for phishing attacks, dives into the world of phishing.
Okay.
And it's not a pretty picture. The study analyzed a massive data set of phishing domains,
Massive.
found that over 66% were maliciously registered. Often they mimic legitimate brands but use slightly different domain names, hoping to trick unsuspecting users.
Hoping people won't notice, right?
Like setting up a fake storefront.
Oh, a fake storefront? Okay.
That looks almost identical to the real one.
So you don't realize you're in the wrong place.
And even when these phishing domains are detected, they often remain active for an average of 11.5 days.
11.5 days.
So even if security teams are on high alert, users are still being exposed to risk for almost 2 weeks.
That's a long time.
That's a long time for someone to fall victim to a phishing scam.
It highlights the limitations of block lists, as a reactive defense.
We need more proactive measures to combat phishing effectively.
Agreed. So we've got sneaky APTs, persistent phishing attacks.
What else is keeping cybersecurity professionals up at night?
Well, this research shows that AI is becoming a double-edged sword in the security world.
Right. On the one hand, incredible potential to bolster our defenses.
Yeah.
On the other hand, it can be used to create even more powerful attacks.
Right, a double-edged sword. So let's start with the good news.
Okay.
The Generative AI for Internet of Things Security Challenges and Opportunities paper explores how a specific type of AI, called generative AI, can be used to enhance IoT security.
The Internet of Things, notorious for its security vulnerabilities.
Yeah.
You've got everything from smart refrigerators to industrial control systems connected to the internet.
Right, everything's connected.
Devices are often resource-constrained. They have diverse attack surfaces, making them prime targets for hackers.
Uh-huh. So how does generative AI help?
That's where generative AI comes in. This paper suggests it can be used for proactive threat modeling, anomaly detection,
Okay.
even dynamic security policy adaptation.
So it's like having an AI bodyguard constantly monitoring your IoT devices,
Exactly.
adjusting security measures in real time. That's amazing.
Imagine an AI system that can simulate attacks on your IoT devices,
Wow.
identify potential vulnerabilities, and automatically strengthen defenses before an attacker can exploit them. That's the potential of generative AI.
It's like a self-healing system.
But of course, there are still some challenges to overcome. The paper highlights the need for more research to fully understand and address the practical limitations of applying generative AI to IoT security. But the potential is certainly there.
And it's not just IoT. The Pentest Plus Elevating Ethical Hacking with AI and Automation paper introduces an AI-augmented system designed to streamline ethical hacking workflows.
So Pentest++A,
Pentest++A.
it uses automation and generative AI to improve efficiency and scalability
Okay.
in tasks like reconnaissance, scanning, and exploitation. Essentially, it's giving ethical hackers superpowers
Superpowers, huh?
so they can find and fix vulnerabilities faster and more effectively.
Makes sense. But what about the ethics of that?
Of course, there are ethical considerations that come with using AI in this way.
Right. I mean, if AI can be used to hack systems more efficiently, it could also fall into the wrong hands.
Absolutely, we need to ensure responsible use and development of these technologies.
The paper emphasizes the importance of human oversight
Right.
to prevent misuse and unintended consequences. AI should augment human expertise, not replace it.
Okay, so AI could be a powerful ally in cybersecurity. But what about AI as a potential threat?
Right, let's flip the coin. What's the dark side?
This paper, Detecting Malicious Concepts Without Image Generation in AIGC, exposes a chilling possibility. Malicious concepts being shared on AI image generation platforms.
Wait, so someone could disguise harmful concepts using seemingly innocent text descriptions and example images?
Exactly.
And then unsuspecting users could download and generate malicious content without even realizing it.
It's like a Trojan horse for the AI age.
That's a good way to put it. So what can we do about it?
This paper proposes a system called Concept Quick Look.
Concept Quick Look.
It can detect these malicious concepts without actually generating any images.
Oh, okay. So it's like a security scanner that can identify harmful files before they're even opened.
Exactly.
That's good. That's reassuring.
And then there's Siren Song, manipulating pose estimation in XR headsets using acoustic attacks.
Siren Song. That sounds ominous.
This one really caught my eye. It's like something straight out of a sci-fi thriller. This research reveals that XR headsets are vulnerable to acoustic attacks
What? Acoustic attacks?
that target their pose estimation systems.
So someone could use sound waves to manipulate how the headset tracks the user's movements.
Exactly. They can create resonant acoustic signals that interfere with the IMU readings, leading to inaccurate pose estimations.
Wow. And what kind of damage could this do?
The consequences could range from manipulating user input to clickjacking, zone invasion, and even denial of user interaction. Imagine someone using sound to force your avatar to do things you don't want it to do in virtual reality.
That's not just unsettling, that's downright creepy.
It feels like we're stepping into a world where even our physical movements in virtual reality can be manipulated. It highlights the need for robust security measures in XR devices.
Especially as they become more common.
Well, this deep dive is already making me think twice about my digital security.
Me too.
And we've only just scratched the surface. Let's take a moment to absorb all this, and when we come back, we'll delve deeper into the world of data and privacy protection. Stay tuned.
Welcome back to the deep dive. We're knee-deep in this cybersecurity research.
Yeah, from shadowy APTs to AI, so much to unpack. What's next?
Now it's all about data and privacy protection.
Feels like every day there's a new data breach or privacy violation.
It's a growing concern, but there's some fascinating research being done to safeguard our data. This paper, A Decade of Metric Differential Privacy, Advancements and Applications, it explores a new approach.
Metric differential privacy. What is that?
They call it MDP for short. Think of traditional differential privacy, like putting a privacy screen around your data, and make sure no one can tell if your individual's info is in a data set.
Like anonymizing the data.
Exactly. But traditional differential privacy, it can be a bit rigid. It treats all data the same. Doesn't matter how sensitive it is.
A one-size-fits-all approach.
Right. MDP is more nuanced. It uses distance metrics.
Distance metrics.
They measure how similar or different data points are.
So instead of one big privacy screen, it's more like custom-fitting privacy suits.
That's a great analogy. This is really important for sensitive data, like location data, text, images. Just adding noise to the data might not be enough.
So MDP gives you more control.
More fine-grained control, yeah. Make sure the privacy protection matches how sensitive the data is.
This paper mentions different MDP mechanisms, Laplace, exponential, optimization-based approaches. What's the takeaway for our listeners?
Well, each mechanism, it has its stars and cons, depends on the specific application, but the big point is that MDP, it offers a more flexible framework for protecting our data, especially in a world where data is so valuable and vulnerable.
Speaking of vulnerable, this paper, ZebraFix, mitigating memory-centric side-channel leakage via interleaving, it tackles those sneaky memory-based attacks.
Yeah, memory-centric side-channel attacks, they exploit weaknesses in how data is stored in a computer's memory.
So they're not hacking directly into the system.
They're listening in on the internal chatter to get sensitive info, like a thief overhearing whispers.
And ZebraFix is the security guard.
ZebraFix scrambles those whispers, yeah. Makes it much harder for attackers to figure anything out.
How does it do that?
It uses interleaving. Imagine a library where books are constantly being rearranged on the shelves.
Constantly moving target. Makes it harder to hit.
The paper mentions there's a trade-off, though. Interleaving can be really good at stopping these attacks, but it can also slow things down, balancing security and performance.
Always a balance to strike. And speaking of security, this paper, in Specs We Trust, conformance analysis of implementation to specifications in Node-RED and associated security risks, reminds us that even the tools we use to build technology can have flaws.
Node-RED, it's a popular low-code platform. Users connect pre-built modules like building blocks, makes development faster.
But there's a risk.
These modules are often open source, created by a community of developers. That's great, but it can also mean security vulnerabilities if the code isn't carefully checked.
So it's like building a house with materials from different suppliers. You hope everything's good quality.
But you never know for sure. This study found that a lot of these Node-RED modules, they leak data in unexpected ways. Some of these vulnerabilities pose high or medium security risks.
Makes you think twice about relying on open source without proper vetting.
Emphasizes the need for security by design, building security into every step of the process, not just an afterthought.
From software to data structures, this paper, LSN trees in adversarial environments, caught my eye. It's about a fundamental part of many databases.
LSM trees, log-structured merge trees, they're great at handling large amounts of data.
But there's a vulnerability.
This paper focuses on Bloom filters.
Bloom filters.
Think of them like probabilistic roadmaps for databases. They help databases find data quickly.
A shortcut.
Exactly, but attackers can trick the Bloom filter into giving false positives, like creating a traffic jam in the database by flooding it with fake requests. Slows the whole system down.
And the solution.
This paper suggests ways to make those popular LSM stores, like LevelDB and RocksDB, more resistant to these attacks.
Design with security in mind seems to be a theme here.
Definitely. And since we can't escape LLMs today, let's talk about how they're impacting security. RTBAS, Defending LLM Agents Against Prompt Injection and Privacy Leakage. This paper reads like something out of a spy movie.
LLM agents, these are those AI systems that use LLMs to interact with external tools, right?
Like search engines, booking systems, even financial platforms.
Sounds useful. But where's the danger?
Prompt injection attacks. Malicious actors can craft input prompts, make the LLM agent leak data, or do something harmful, like sneaking a hidden command into a harmless request.
Sneaky indeed.
This RTBIS system, it's designed to stop these attacks. Like a bodyguard, it checks every request, blocks any malicious attempts.
Keeps the LLM agent safe.
The study shows it's really effective, and it doesn't bother the user too much.
That's important. So responsible AI development.
Absolutely. And finally, we have FL Flame. Flexible LLM-assisted moderation engine. This one's all about controlling the output of LLMs.
A growing concern. What's Flame's approach?
Instead of filtering the input prompts, Flame analyzes the model responses. It tries to catch harmful content before it gets out.
Like a quality control check at the end of the line?
Makes sense. It's more efficient that way, and harder to bypass those filters.
So adaptable content filtering.
That's the idea. Flame represents a big step forward in content moderation for LLMs, making sure they're used safely.
This deep dive into data and privacy protection has been eye-opening. So much to consider.
It's a multi-layered challenge, that's for sure, from protecting data to securing software and even controlling AI. Requires constant vigilance and innovation.
Wow, we've covered so much ground today.
From those shadowy APTs to the double-edged sword of AI, and all those challenges to data and privacy.
It's been quite a journey. What really stood out to you? What are the key takeaways for our listeners?
You know, I think what really struck me is just how sophisticated these attackers are getting.
Yeah, they're not messing around.
They're using cutting-edge tech, AI, machine learning, all to make these highly targeted, evasive attacks.
Like those APTs we talked about, they're playing the long game now, not just breaking in, but settling in for some serious espionage.
And it's not just about the tech, it's about understanding how people think.
Yeah, those phishing attacks, they still work because they prey on our emotions. Curiosity, fear. We got to be more aware.
Absolutely. Cybersecurity awareness is more crucial than ever. Everyone needs to know how to spot these threats.
It's a human problem as much as a technical one. Another takeaway for me is just the sheer amount of research being done in this field.
It's amazing, isn't it?
We've seen papers on everything. IoT security, data structures, even those prompt injection attacks in LLMs.
Shows just how multidisciplinary this field is. It takes everyone, computer scientists and mathematicians, psychologists, even social scientists.
And it's a field that's constantly evolving. New technologies, new vulnerabilities, new solutions. It never stops.
That's what makes it so exciting and challenging. So what should our listeners be thinking about going forward?
As they navigate this digital world, it's a minefield out there.
Here's something to ponder. As AI becomes more and more ingrained in our lives, what will that mean for cybersecurity? Will we see more AI-powered attacks? Or will AI become our ultimate defense?
That's the million-dollar question.
No easy answers, but it's a question we all need to be asking. The future of cybersecurity is tied to the future of AI.
Well, on that note, I think we've reached the end of our deep dive. A fascinating look at the world of cybersecurity research.
Always evolving, always something new to learn.
Thanks for joining us, everyone. Stay curious, stay vigilant, and keep diving deeper.
Until next time, CSC.